right now. We are here and make a difference. We are here.
Hello, everybody, and this is your host, Marie LaBrosse. I'm here for Giving Tuesday, and this segment today is coming to you from the Northport Arts Center, and we're going to be talking with the people that are involved with homeschooling. Not all the people, just one of the students and his mother. And I'd like to actually thank everybody today for coming on with us as we witness again Giving Tuesday. And if you don't know what Giving Tuesday is a day that you take for giving back to your community, to your neighbor, to the world, or maybe even within your own household. But today is that day. So take the time and give back in some way today or throughout the year, or if nothing else, just be kind. Well, I'm bringing up on the screen right now Bridgette and Eoin O'Grady. And hi, you guys are part of the homeschool program here at the Northport Arts Center. And I'm going to give you the floor because, Eoin, I hear you're a great speaker.
Thank you.
Is that true? Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd like you to explain to our audience about homeschooling and how your mother got you involved in coming to the Northport Arts Center. Do you think your mom should talk about that?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Okay, so Bridgette, what made you decide to come to the Northport Arts Center for doing homeschooling, and you homeschool? And I give you an applause for homeschooling because we really know how tough it is. And all those people going through COVID and you had to work with your student, Bridgette has made the choice to do this all the time.
Yes. So
go ahead.
During COVID, I was actually teaching in a classroom. So I was doing remote teaching for my students in a public school setting. And then Eoin was only 3 at the time. So we decided actually during that process and seeing how that was working, we made the choice to homeschool Eoin. So when he started kindergarten, we moved here in 2022, and he started kindergarten that year, and we were homeschooling here. He loves art. Neither my husband nor I gravitate towards art. It's not that we don't enjoy it. We just need more direction than Eoin was needing. And we could not provide that direction for him. So we looked around, found Northport Arts Center. I talked to Claire at the time. He was just a little bit too young to get started. And she said, we'll do a trial, let him come and see. And he jumped right in, loved it. And this is his second school year with the Northport Arts Center. So he has taken all of Miss Claire's classes and a few classes with Mr. Barry. And we're excited. Mr. Barry is adding a second class in January. So Eoin has that on his Christmas list as one of his presents that he hopes to receive for Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, so Eoin, tell me how much you really love doing art.
Well, I really do love it. And is this like a rate 1 through 10 or what?
How would you rate Northport Arts Center?
10.
A 10. And why do you give it a 10? Because you can go lower than that. Why is it a 10 for you?
Because Miss Claire does Miss Claire does artists and their art, but Mr. Barry does history. And if we're doing next year, it'll be the artist and the history behind it. And also one of the reasons I like it is because, let's say you make a mistake, they'll actually tell you, you can use like you can use that to make this for that particular piece of art.
So they give you some
So,
guidance.
yeah, and you're learning about history and you're learning about the artists, right?
Yes.
And that's part of the things, I'm sure, Bridget, that's one of the advantages that you find, because it's not only learning about the art, but about the history behind the artist, or behind probably the picture. I know Mr. Barry and Miss Claire are going to be on later on, and we'll be talking more in depth about that, how they do that, because Mr. Barry was a school teacher. That's what he did originally for his living, and he has all those creative juices, and he does 3D art and different things. So you really get your hands in there, don't you, and get to learn to do different things.
Yes.
And what was Mr. Barry's class just last Wednesday? What were you learning? What did he do that was extra special?
Just last Wednesday, it was like a Thanksgiving class. Like, he was also reading a book called All of the Lies My Teacher Told Me.
So he took the history of Thanksgiving and tied it into your art, right?
Yes.
And what did you create as your art piece?
It wasn't really Thanksgiving wise, but it was like a family crest. Well, yeah, a family crest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And some of the art he does is paint pour, but some of the other is clay.
Move it this way.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You got to go mirror opposite when you show it on the screen. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. On your mom, we can see it a little bit.
This is one of the puppets that they created in Mr. Barry's class. So do they use a lot of different mediums?
Yes.
And techniques?
Yes, and the jaw did accidentally come off.
Oh, it actually did come off, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you put the puppet on and show me it on your hand?
Yeah.
And yeah, use this hand so that you can see it. I know it's the opposite hand, but use that so you can see. Look.
Oh.
See, yeah, there. Look at how cute that is. It is adorable. That is so cute.
The head's kind of heavy.
Yeah, kind of wobbly there, but and you learned how to use the different mediums to create that, because I see it's layered.
Yes.
And that's part of the things that you learn, how to use those different techniques and those different products to create that art. And he gives you the story behind. And that's one of the great things that you do learn, is when they're doing the youth art classes, you do learn that. And he's so cute. And so are you, Owen. You really are. You're adorable. I'd like to take the time right now, and we're going to show a video up here. And it's kind of grainy, but we're going to show it anyhow, because Miss Claire actually put it together. And I want to make sure that the audience can see this. It's with the homeschooling.
Okay.
And that is, those were pictures of different things that they were doing in the classes there. So that is so much fun. I wish I was older, younger, not older. I'm old. I'm already old.
Well, there are actually classes for all ages.
Well, tell me about that.
Okay, so when we were doing the Thanksgiving class, I actually found out that there were classes for all ages. I
Oh,
thought,
you didn't. Your mom could be going, right?
yeah. I actually don't know what the age is because it was like,
Well, they have them for all ages.
Yeah.
Mommy could go.
Yeah.
yeah.
But you got to go visit. He got to go visit one of the other classes.
Yeah.
He was dressed as Squanto last week for art class, and it was part of the Thanksgiving discussion. So he went with Mr. Barry to visit one of the other classes going on at the same time for adults, right?
Yeah.
And you were playing Squanto. Tell us a little history about Squanto.
So he was actually the person who made the first Thanksgiving. Well, no, technically the Pilgrims made the first Thanksgiving because the Native Americans actually just showed up with food.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you learn through all of this process? Were all the different students dressed up as different characters?
No, I was the only one dressed up. Because
Oh.
Mr. Barry told me, Owen, do you have like a Native American costume? I said, yes, Squanto. He said, okay, bring that. But first wear your like just regular clothes and then put your Squanto costume on.
And that's the element of surprise, right?
Yes.
Very good. So you're learning so much just by doing an art class. And I want to address your mom right now, Bridgette. With you being a school teacher originally in that, what have you seen in the school systems when it comes to art?
Unfortunately, art in the school system is often the first thing to be cut. You know, the electives don't get the same attention that, you know, the primary, what's considered the primary academics. And it's unfortunate because especially for a kiddo like Owen, he needs that art outlet. And it carries over. I find when he comes to art class and then we go home and we do our academic piece, he is much more successful because he has had that opportunity to express himself in his preferred manner. And then I can come in and, you know, push the things that maybe aren't his favorites, not those creative outlet pieces. But his brain has had that opportunity and it is able to make the connections that I need him to make because he was here. So we are advocates of, you know, physical education, art education, all of those elective pieces that, you know, are removed. I was fortunate to work in a school district that did value the arts. So I saw firsthand the support that the art teachers received and then how that trickled down to our students. But as a child, we didn't have art class. We were supposed to, but often it was, you know, Friday afternoons, the last half hour of the day. And, you know, I remember art got skipped. And for me, I didn't miss it. I think now looking back, I missed out on a ton. But in that moment, I didn't realize what I was missing. Because it wasn't my preferred outlet, but I feel like you lose a lot of kids and their ability to be successful across the board when you remove these things from the community. So for us, we will always attend Northport Art Center in some capacity for Owen. And so losing something like that, there's only so many YouTube videos you can watch to learn art, and it's just not the same.
And you're homeschooling him, so this gives him the opportunity to interact with other students too. It's that social interaction that you need too, right? Well, when you made friends, I imagine, at your art classes. And with you being homeschooled, I know that actually I wish I had the opportunity when my children were younger to they didn't really talk about that much back then because I'm really old. And I'm really old. And so those opportunities where you go on field trips. Part of your thing is you'll get to go to a museum or interact where things happen, and your mom's able to bring you. And do you do different classes with other homeschoolers too,
Yes.
Bridgette?
We do. So we participate in a co-op on Mondays and Thursdays, and that's a full day of instruction. We actually do have art class there as well, and it is a curriculum that we follow. And we, in between, on our other days, Eoin participates in a sailing program, a hockey program, and then he's fortunate to have grandparents in Florida. So he does grandparent field trips. And where did Nana and Papa just go a couple weeks ago? What museum did they go to? You didn't get to go, but they went to the Dolly Museum.
Yes, Dolly. Why do I always forget his name?
And so they brought him back a book. And so we read the book at home. And it is the hope to have that be a field trip for him in the spring. His grandparents will take him to the Dolly Museum. So he is constantly connecting within the community. And he's a very social kiddo. So we don't have to worry about socialization for him. But having the Northport Art Center allows that opportunity for homeschool families that maybe don't have as many community connections as Eoin has. And I think Northport Art Center has done such a great job of keeping it affordable for families. Homeschooling can be very expensive, and it's a sacrifice as a family to homeschool because obviously someone has to give up full-time employment to homeschool. And so having the opportunities here in the community that are affordable and can get the kids together and give that enrichment has just been invaluable.
I am so glad that you mentioned that, because a lot of people don't realize the sacrifices you as a parent and your family had to give to, stay home with Eoin, because you were a school teacher and you lose that income coming in to support the home. But you know what, Eoin, you're priceless, because with what your mom is giving you is a priceless thing that a lot of parents aren't able to do with their children, especially in today's world. You're a little bit afraid to send a child to a public school.
Yeah.
So Eoin, what would you say to our audience? Why do you think it's important to save the Northport Art Center?
Because it's not just saying like you can use this pencil, blah blah blah, do this, and you're done. It's teaching you like techniques, mediums, and all other things like oil pastels, paint, scratchboard, which I have one of my pieces right here.
Look at how great that is. That's really good. That's a rabbit.
Yep, that was from Miss Claire.
Yeah, and you thought about that in your brain and you put it onto paper and you scratch that off, that scratch board.
Yep.
Right. And Eoin, what do you see for your future?
Probably painting. I'm not a very huge painter because I'm not as good as that. As good painting as drawing, because I'm much better drawing than painting.
Do you think you'll incorporate art in your future jobs? Or
yes.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Well, even to be an engineer or to be anything in those, you have to do things in the arts. Now, do you do any acting?
Acting.
Yeah. Do you do performance art?
We have been talking about it. Eoin has a very busy schedule, so incorporating new things. But yes, theater. We've talked about being in plays.
Yeah.
And why we always talk about that because you enjoy, even when he dressed up as Squanto last week for art class, he was acting, yes, but he also helped to create that costume. That was not a costume that we purchased. Eoin puts them together and thankfully has grandmas that love to sew. So he designs the costume and then works with his grandmother to put it together. So he carries his art across many things.
Mediums, yeah. And I started the Kids on Stage in Charlotte County for the community theater here, and they only run the program during the summer per se. They do introduce different kids, but up in Venice they have a good theater program out there for children, and that's one of the things that's missing in Northport also is performing arts theater. And one of the visions that I know that the Northport Art Center will be talking with, I think, the next guest about when they started the Northport Art Center. It's actually the Northport Area Art Guild. And the reason they did it is you can bring in any form of the arts. And I know one of the visions at one time is to have even a black box theater and have different theater performing things along with your visual arts with the Northport Art Center, and you can have any of the other arts in one central location, and that is a vision. And one of the other things that Northport is missing is a central location to bring in performances. There's not a venue large enough, and I know that they do things at the Atlanta Braves Stadium, but that really isn't a theater setting. If you want to go to anything, you go to Sarasota to Van Wezel or different ones up there, the Oslo, or you go down to Fort Myers. In between, we have nothing. Venice has. Pardon?
We would love to see it, and Venice does offer a homeschool theater. We would love to see that come to Northport.
Yeah, and that's one of the things when Northport residents look at this, and even here in Charlotte County, because we're just neighbors right next to each other, we do need a large enough facility that you can offer all the arts in one location. It makes no sense in my estimation. This is me, Marie, talking. It makes no sense to me not to have everything in all one location. So you may have art show going on over here, a visual art show, and over here you got theater going on, and you have a central where you can have even great big dinner going on, or offering something like that. You don't have to have one here, one here, one here that you're traveling if you have something central, and that's called community. So with that being said, I would really love to thank you to Bridgette and Eoin for coming on today. It wasn't that bad, was it, Eoin, coming here today? No, you didn't know what to expect, did you? It's just a conversation, and people got to know you, Eoin.
Yep.
And how did your mothers come up with your name? Because it spelled so differently.
Well, my dad is named John, but so my name is spelled in Gaelic. So Eoin in Gaelic means John.
Oh, so that's very good. So and O'Grady is
also Irish. Well,
right.
Eoin is Irish. My middle name is Finn, also spelled Gaelic. And O'Grady, also spelled Gaelic. So all three names, and if I was writing my whole name, are all Irish.
Very good. And is your dream to go to Ireland, or have you been there already?
I've never been to Ireland.
Okay, so is that one of your dream trips?
Yes.
Yeah, and have you studied anything about Irish? Because you do have St. Patty's Day coming up, so maybe you can get Mr. Barry or Miss Claire to do something Irish.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go, and you can have the luck of a leprechaun,
Yes.
right? Yeah, very good.
Some costume pieces for a leprechaun, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
so
remember
Where your beard is. I bet we can find it.
Yeah.
yeah, so that's something, and I'd love to have you come on with me again, Owen.
Okay.
I haven't been doing this for off and on because I have been ill, and I used to do radio all the time. I have a couple of radio shows, and one of the radio shows is about history. And people have been asking me if I would do podcasts, but I stream and I can use it for a podcast. So maybe down the line, because I like kids like you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I've been honored.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and for you, Bridgette, thank you so much for coming on today, for giving us of your time, because I know with homeschooling, this was very educational for all of us.
Well, thank you for having us. We appreciate everything Northport has done for us, and we look forward to continuing and expanding our participation.
Yep.
Oh, and I'd like to say that we can bring up when people post things. This is actually my sister-in-law. They're watching out there. We're being watched on Facebook and YouTube right now. Hi, Marie. I think Owen has a future in broadcasting, perhaps very animated young man. So that's somebody that's talking about you, Owen, that they're actually loving what they're seeing with you. You're such a young, beautiful gentleman.
Thank you.
Okay. Everybody, thank you so much for coming on with us today. This was Bridgette and Eoin O'Grady. They're homeschooled, a homeschool mom and her son, Owen. And if you have it in your heart to be generous today, to donate money, go to the northportartcenter.org, and there's a place to click on there right on the front page, that Giving Tuesday donate. Just click on that and you can donate, or go to the Northport Art Center, which is 5950 Sam Shappos Way. It's off of Northport Boulevard in Northport. And Gail's giving out ice cream. Go have an ice cream. Get to see what the Northport Art Center looks like. Yeah, Owen, when you're done here, go have ice cream. Yeah, Gail has it with the toppings, different toppings and stuff. So that'll be so much fun. And also, just be kind today. Please, everybody, just be kind to your neighbor, to people. If you're out there, don't go into road rage. I guess we got a lot of new drivers here, right? Are they crazy out there, Owen, for the driving? Yeah, there's a lot of traffic we're not used to. So just, take your time, be cool, don't get in an accident, be kind to your neighbor, pay it forward, do whatever you can to help your neighbor if you can, if possible. Thank you so much for everybody coming today, and have a great day and have a great Giving Tuesday. See you all again the next hour.